We know how work is changing rapidly with all these new technologies arising, and everybody's talking about the dangers of AI and robots taking over our jobs. So what can we do to prepare ourselves for the changing nature of work? So the key point there is to adopt what psychologists call a growth mindset, and we can translate it all as a mindset where people are open towards change and towards continuous learning. So what does this mean is that we have to move away from this assumption that our life consists of learning for the first, let's say, 18 years, and then go to university, do a particular degree, and then this is your career, and you will pretty much stay in that career for the rest of your life. You might change a few times, but you stay in the same area with the same skills. We have to move away from these assumptions and from this way of life, because the work is changing so rapidly now that we cannot assume that the skills and knowledge we have acquired earlier in our life will actually be relevant even 5-10 years from now on. So this means that individual workers need to be open to constantly improving, to constantly acquiring new skills, developing their knowledge, and open themselves to new experiences. So working with people from different backgrounds, trying new jobs, even new industries where they might not have any particular in-depth experience for this industry, but where they can utilize the more generic type of skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, and all the soft skills that will help them to address new challenges. Universities are also on the cusp of big disruption because of work is changing, which means that a degree that someone has completed might not be relevant in 5 years' time. What also is happening, there's ubiquitous online learning happening. So there's so many opportunities to do online courses, from massive open online courses, the so-called MOOCs, to shorter courses, and there are new competitors moving into a space. For example, General Assembly, they started very small, and then they've grown significantly, and they're offering short courses starting from 2 hours to longer term, 3 months long courses to even whole degrees. So there's a lot of competition happening to offer this new type of learning. So what universities need to do is they need to rethink their model as well of how they prepare students for the future of work. And we have been thinking about this at UTS, and I'm sure other universities are doing as well. So how do we move towards a more lifelong learning concept, where we'll be offering students the opportunities to come back on a regular basis and update their skills, acquire new knowledge, acquire new experiences that will prepare them for the future of work. So in a nutshell, universities will need to move towards shorter degrees, and even defragment their degrees into smaller courses that students will be able then to pick and choose from depending on their path and their career. And then universities have to think about new business models. How do they make money out of this? Whether this will be some form of a subscription model for continuous learning, whether they will be able to enable students to build their own degrees and just provide some advice in a sense of what kind of subjects or experiences will fit together to prepare you for a particular type of industry or career for a while before you then need to move to the next one. So these are all of the things that are already happening at universities. At the UTS particularly, we're just introducing a new MBA, or advanced MBA, which is much more, which is a 1-year intensive, and it's got a very strong learner focus, enabling students to partly work with us on what their learning experiences will be. And it's a program that is co-developed, co-designed and co-delivered with industry partners to make it relevant. So whatever is happening in the industry, we can teach our students about about skills and changes in industry with the help of our industry partners, so they're prepared for when they join, when they finish their studies and they join industry, or when they're ready for the next step, they have relevant, updated knowledge. So how do you continue to do well what you're doing and where you're making most of your money, while at the same time try to disrupt yourself and bring in new products, new services, or new ways to create value? So the question that is being termed in academic language is as a paradox of managing exploitation versus exploration. So the key to this is building a culture of intrapreneurship or innovation. And a culture is not something that's very easy to build. So there are a few key ingredients that can help establish organizations to create such a culture of innovation, but it's not going to be a short process. It will take a while for organizations to get there. So some of the key aspects is first to start with the mission or with values that are oriented towards innovation. So where organizations have to be committed to support people trying new things, rather than why should we do something differently, we've always done it this way type of a way of thinking. So starting with values that foster innovation, then putting structures in place that will support innovation. This means establishing roles that will support innovation. So there will be people whose particular role will be to work with others on fostering innovation or helping identify new ways of doing things, and also making people accountable and give them ownership of these new initiatives. This also has to do with incentives and accountability. So structure is very important. And then is the process of innovation, adopting a specific process. Many organizations now are adopting a design thinking driven innovation process, where you start from the needs of the customer and then think about what kind of products or services can you develop that will better meet the needs of the customer. But equally, organizations can start from a tech-driven innovation process, where they come up with a new technology and then see how this new technology can meet specific customer needs. So, but a process has to be there, and then this process has to also include how organizations will financially support new initiatives. So, for example, lean startup methodologies have been now adopted in large organizations. They come from intrapreneurial organizations, but now are increasingly adopted in large established organizations. Lean startup and quick failing, which means quick investments into particular new initiatives, see how they go. They might fail, learn from failure, then start again, and then move quickly. So this is the process of innovation. And I guess the most important ingredient of this innovation culture is the people. So having the right people who are passionate about innovation, who are willing to experiment. Not everybody has got that innovation mindset. As I previously said, we are actually still coming from a world where we had the assumption is once you learn and you do a particular degree, you start a career, you stay there for longer. But we have to move, and so some people cannot quickly change. So it's very important to have the right people who have this growth mindset, innovation mindset, to give them the accountability and the opportunity to drive innovation. So I guess they're the four key ingredients I would say for an entrepreneurial culture is starting with values that support innovation, having the proper structures and roles, the innovation process, and then the people who can drive it. So I think this is related to the questions we discussed earlier, is where people have to be open to new experiences and need to realize that it's not enough to rely on the skills and knowledge you have developed at some stage in your life. You need to continue learning, that aspect of continuous learning, continuous experimentation. And a entrepreneurial mindset also means that people need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. People need to be open to ambiguity and uncertainty and risk environment. So these are skills that we are not very good at, and I think we need to start very early on. And this is something as well that we're doing at universities, where we are exposing students to work on life consulting projects with external organizations. So we put them in that very ambiguous, uncertain, real life situation in which they both learn to apply the knowledge and skills they're developing their degree, but also they have a chance to take initiative and see how they can deal with this ambiguous situation to come up with something that is of value. So that's part of the learning process. So the key part of the entrepreneurial mindset is to be open to change, open to learning, open to uncertainty and ambiguity, seeking even opportunities that will make you feel uncomfortable because you grow through these opportunities. And you teach yourself that it's not actually that scary to be put in these new situations where you need to do something completely different. And another part of the entrepreneurial mindset is also being very open to collaboration, working with people from diverse backgrounds, and learning how to accept other people's viewpoints and learning to work through different perspectives. And not always will this mean that people will agree with each other or reach a consensus, but it will mean still working productively towards a particular outcome. So that openness to collaboration, to experimentation with other perspectives and other people. So we have done at UTS a study about 2 years ago where we interviewed 21 CEOs and chairs of boards of ASX 200 companies in Australia. It was an in-depth study, not a representative. So we interviewed these 21 CEOs and chairs about the role of senior executives in fostering innovation in Australia. And the findings of this study were that most of the CEOs and boards are actually quite risk averse. It has got a lot to do with short-term pressure from share market, but it also has to do with the mindset of our organizations are doing well enough. Why should we risk? Why should we invest into innovation, which is very risky? So one of the key insights from this study was that our boards and senior executive teams are not very diverse. And there's a lot of research that shows that diversity is actually a key driver for being more open to innovation. So one of the first things that Australian companies could do in order to open themselves more towards innovation is to diversify their boards. And by that I mean gender diversity, but also mean diversity from other minorities, but also diversity by including, including board members from different backgrounds. So most of the boards in Australian companies don't have people from a technical background who understand digital. And we know that digital technologies are disrupting every possible industry at the moment. And yet our companies cannot be prepared if they don't have people on top who understand how digital transformation is changing their company. So this is one of the first things that Australian companies need to do. And the second is the role of leadership in fostering that innovation culture I talked about previously is absolutely critical. This innovation culture, even if you have the 4 ingredients that I mentioned previously, the values, structure, process, and people there, if these values are not supported by the senior leadership team, if people in the organizations see that there is no real support by the senior team, that's not going to work. The innovation culture cannot survive or cannot emerge in an organization where the senior leadership is not fully committed. So research that my colleagues and I have done with a few companies in Australia has clearly shown that support by senior leadership team where they talk about the need to innovate, they provide financial incentives to innovate, they celebrate successes, but also failures from innovation processes is absolutely critical in order to foster innovation. So they're probably two of the things that Australian companies can do rather quickly to start fostering a more innovative culture.